Good evening, everyone. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, June 9th, 2022, 6 p.m. I'd like to invite Pamela Beard forward with Action Church to provide us with the invocation and lead us in our pledge. If everyone will stand.
Let us pray. Dear gracious Father, we come before you today to request that your mighty hand be on each of the council members tonight. May you lead and guide them to make solid and good decisions for the well-being of our lovely city, East Ridge. May your will and your way be done, and may we follow the path that you lead us in. We thank you and love you, Lord. In your Son, Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Helton. Here. Councilmember Witt,
Here.
City Manager Dorsey,
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the Employee Milestone Awards. It's a pleasure to recognize two employees that have reached a milestone. Both have reached 20 years of service with the city, and that is Scott Butcher and Jeff Duncan. We thank them for their continued service and dedication to our city. Again, if it wasn't for our employees, we wouldn't be the city that we are. So we appreciate them very much. I will move on to the next item, which is the consent agenda. I assume everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes of the May 26, 2022 council meeting and the declaration of surplus property. I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton. Yes. Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to the next item, communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen to come forward, address the council with any questions, concerns, accolades. And we'll have 5 minutes to do so. We have no one that actually logged in. Thank you, sir. But if there's anyone in the audience who would like to come forward, now is the opportunity. See no one, so I'll move to communications from council members. I'll start on this side. Councilmember Witt.
I would just like to remind everybody that the Optimus Fishing Rodeo is this Saturday. It is free. So please bring your kids from 9 to 12.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton,
Nothing at this time.
Mayor Chauncey,
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilmember Cagle.
I've got a couple of things. I'd like to thank the city manager and the street department for taking care of the problem up on Pond Dexter. And you found out about the scrapping.
Haley just got back, so don't
Okay.
have it yet.
And I got a notice in my mailbox today where we have discontinued the personnel advisory board. And I'd just like to thank each and every one of them for serving their time and doing a great job for us, even though best I can remember, we only used them one time. So, but like Ms. Doris Rogers, and I don't know who else everybody's appointed, but I'd just like to thank them that for doing a good job for us, being on hand.
And we
Thank
sent
you.
them all letters too, thanking them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, we did send letters to all of them and definitely appreciate their willingness and support to be on that board. One thing I wanted to mention is we did have a great event back on Memorial Day on the 30th. We had our Memorial Day event with the laying of the wreaths, 21 gun salute, and remarks from our Congressman Fleshman. So it was a great special day in remembrance of those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. So we appreciate those and all of our veterans and active duty. One of the things I had was the fishing rodeo, but thank you for going ahead and mentioning that. I want to go ahead and mention the next event I think is pretty close to the next council meeting is also the Optimus Club's 8th annual auto show and motorcycle show that's going to be on the 18th at Camp Jordan. Registration begins at 8:30. It's $25 registration fee for anyone that's entering their car. Goodie bags for the first 100 that are registered. So it'll be a great event. Proceeds all go to charities and supporting our city. So we appreciate all the hard, dedicated work by the Optimus Club. The other two things, we have two home games coming up with our Red Wolves. We've got Wednesday, the 22nd at 7:30, and which is Charlotte Independence. And then the next one is Saturday, June the 25th, 7:30, FC Tucson. So wanted to mention those. And I think that's all that I have. I was going to ask for my usual paving update. So I believe the city manager will cover that in his communication, but that's that for me. Now you,
Thank you,
sir.
Mayor. Let's see. I'll start with, we are working out the kinks on the splash pad. Last week we opened it from 11 to 3. This week we're getting ready to change for this week and next week to have it open from 11 to 6. We had a few issues with some of the filters and trying to get the grass and dirt from washing into there. We're getting those sort of things figured out. And every day it gets a little better. They get a little more trained because a couple of the problems we've had were not what they were trained on. So we had to make calls and everything else, but it's starting to work a lot better. So like I said, we're extending the hours every week to get it to a point we'll be able to make sure we can leave it open. You don't take dogs, you don't take food, you don't take clothes besides what you're wearing. You would not believe the things people are bringing into the splash pad. We're having to make little signs to say, please don't do this and that and that. So it's been interesting. I also wanted to thank council member Helton Haynes, make sure I say that correctly, for the universal changing table. We've installed that at Camp Jordan. It's in the bathroom complex. What do you call that? And right there between fields 4 and 5 on the soccer field side. So it's a family bathroom on the end, next to where the ladies and men's bathrooms is. And we're very thankful for that. And thank you for helping us get that.
Well, thanks council members and the mayor for all being supportive of the project, and Roddy Coe, who actually came before us and talked about it because it's very important.
Thank you. In addition to that, I want to congratulate Josh Creel. He graduated today from the FBI National Academy, and Chief Allen went up there to witness the graduation. I hear some people watched it live today. So that's why Chief Allen's not here, but I want to congratulate him on that. Diane, did you say it was 182nd class since the 30s or something? That's 382. And you're a number person. Okay.
It was started in 1935.
Wow. Very good. Thank you. And also, just so the council knows, I am now the District 3 Director for the Tennessee Municipal League on the Board of Directors. Katie Lamb, the mayor of Collegedale, has resigned. She just went over to just be the director on the bond fund side. So I was second in line, second in charge on the District 3 side. So I have moved up and I'm now the district director. So I'll let everybody know that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Paving. Here's where we are so far. We're getting closer. 1, 2, 3. I'll give you 4. As you know, we're looking at the spot paving.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but just when this is not the multimodal paving. This is in addition.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is in relation to the spot paving that we are looking towards doing here in the city. We first got an analysis of our streets by Ace Engineering, and we took that analysis and looked at the areas that appeared or looked like they needed to have the worst paving done rather than doing whole streets, being able to do some spot paving after consulting with the engineers. This is just the list of what Chris Vaughn, who's over streets, has come up with as the areas that he's determined need some spot paving. We hopefully will be able to do all these. The engineer is going to start crunching some numbers for us to see where we stand with being able to get this done, mobilization, the technique to use, and those sort of things. And hopefully we'll have something for council at the next meeting in a couple weeks. So that's where we stand on the paving. Are there any questions on the paving? No? Okay. And of course, as you've seen the barrels out there, the multimodal project has finally started. Their first phase, the first thing they were doing was looking for determining the locations of the stormwater drains and water lines and I guess sewer lines and everything else, because you can't believe everything you see on a piece of paper that's drawn out. So they're trying to make sure all that's right. They're going to do it in a few phases. They're going to start on the south side, just west of Walmart, going up to Kingwood. That's the first part they're going to do. The second part they're going to do, and I'll get corrected if I'm wrong. The second part is from Walmart going down to McBrien on the south side. Then the third side and the third phase would be on the north side, same sort of thing, Walmart up. And then the fourth phase would be from Walmart to McBrien. And the whole process should take a year, about a year. So welcome the barrels. They're going to try to minimize traffic disruptions as much as possible, obviously with trying to keep the sections down as they block the streets off, and maybe see if, I know we've been working with signals to see if we might be able to lengthen the light a little bit and move forward. So you might get some complaints, but we're making progress on Ringo Road. And that's all I have.
Yes, thanks to adjusting the barrel situation based upon which ones are being constructed or being redone first. We did see a lot of barrels, and now we have not as many, but we still have quite a few out there. But yes, we appreciate that and working on the signalization. Go ahead.
What you doing?
About
I'll go back to you. About they're getting rid of.
So Food City will be having their grand opening. Look at my calendar. That's going to be the 21st.
An open house.
An open house. That's correct. Yep. Open house on the 21st. And then they'll be opening on the 22nd. So we're very excited about that. Everyone's probably familiar with they're moving across the street. It's 54,000 square foot store with multiple amenities that they currently don't have. And so we're very excited about that grand opening and them being up and operational. We're very excited about that. Anything else you want to add?
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding. All right, we don't have any old business, so we'll move to the next item, which is new business. And item A, public hearing for ordinance number 1168.
When we have public hearings, we like to fully read the ordinance. So we'll read this. It'll get read again at the time that we close the public hearing. This is ordinance number 1168, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, abandoning portions of 3 closed right-of-ways as follows. McDonald Road located at lot 6517 and 6521 Ringo Road. Slater Road located on lots 6519, 6521, and 6517 Ringo Road. And an unnamed road located on lots 6519 and 6517 Ringo Road as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions. Okay.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, this is really a kind of a cleaning up item from the 70s. This relates to the Wally's Restaurant as well as the hotel north of the Wally's Restaurant. There in the 70s, there was an ordinance that was passed wherein the city closed a portion of Slater Road and a portion of McDonald Road. When some title work was being performed on these properties, it was discovered, at least by title companies, that a closing of a road is not necessarily the same as an abandonment for purposes of having good and marketable title. And so when it was brought to our attention, we looked at it, and the applicants have moved to abandon those respective portions of the road. What a concern came up was the access from Ringo Road there between Champy's and Wally's. That's actually a flag lot. And so what we have, Planning Commission moved and approved a recommendation approving the abandonment subject to entering into a perpetual access easement for the public right of way, or to keep public access. Basically, it would connect between Ringo Road up to Slater Road and always allow public access. There's a red light there now. we've not gotten any pushback from the developer. We still need to kind of get a finalized easement, but we are comfortable with the direction that we're headed right now with the representative, the attorney for the Wally's and the hotel owners. And so at this point, Planning Commission recommended approval, and that's what's before you tonight. It would be approving the abandonment of those respective portions while subject to entering into a perpetual, non-exclusive public right-of-way easement right there at that red line.
Thank you, sir. I will open up this public hearing for ordinance number 1168. I'll ask is the representative or property owner like to come forward at this time? Not necessary, but if they'd like to. And if there's anyone in the audience that is in favor of or in opposition, now is your opportunity to come forward and speak during this public hearing. I see no one, so I will close this public hearing and we'll move into item B, the actual ordinance number 1168. So, City Attorney
Can you
Lisa
hear me?
already read the ordinance, so I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1168.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1168.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1168 passed first reading. Move to item C, ordinance number 1169.
An ordinance of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, making and fixing the annual appropriations of the several departments for the city for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023.
Thank you, Mayor. With that, we had our budget workshop last week, went for a couple hours. Had every department came up and spoke about what was going on in their areas, and council had a few questions, and some of the questions I gave you an email with all the answers. If I left one off, someone please let me know. I think I hit them all. Yes? Okay. I think I hit them all. As you know, the budget is balanced. There is no property tax increase on this budget. And we're here for the first of two required readings.
Thank you, sir. In that packet was some information. I think there was one of the things that was asked was about the judge salary. So that information is provided as well. I know there was a discussion on whether to include that or not include that. So just wanted to bring that point up, and I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1169.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1169.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion?
I've got one question. Over here on page 3 in these figures, we've got the debt service thing. And it looks like we're 161,000 already in the hole.
Yes, sir, because we are estimating the hotel motel tax, which goes in there. And it will probably come in more than we have estimated, but if not, we'll use fund balance because it has a strong fund balance.
Anyone else? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1169 passed first reading. We'll move to item D, ordinance number 1170.
An ordinance of the city council for the city of East Ridge, Tennessee to provide for the general revenue thereof for the fiscal year 2022, 2023 to be known as the general revenue ordinance for said year.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the the revenue ordinance, as was stated, that helps fund the budget. It's basically the property tax ordinance. And basically, we're leaving the property tax as is, not changing it at all. It's still $1.25.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1170.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Whit. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, ordinance 1170 passed first reading. Move to item E, ordinance number 1171.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend the fiscal year 2022 operating budget, ordinance number 1147, by changing the revenues and expenditures of various funds.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to our Finance Director, Ms. Qualls.
Yes, this is where we're cleaning up for the end of year to make sure that we're in balance. As you can tell, we had revenues coming in strong, so I was able to offset it by revenues. So it's not dipping into the fund balance or anything. A lot of them had to do with unexpected expenses, gas, fuel.
New police cars.
Yes, police cars. We bought motorcycles. Yeah. And then we increased the drug fund because we bought those new Motorola radios out of there. So I'd increase it for that. And the capital projects fund, we're working on so many different projects. We're having to draw from their fund balance, especially when it's a grant, because it's got to come back. I've got to spend it before we get it back. So that's where we're taking care of that. So that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1171.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1171.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, ordinance number 1171 passed first reading. We'll move to item F, resolution number 3274.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to approve the appointment by Mayor Williams to the East Ridge Industrial Development Board.
Yes, the first thing I would like to do is I would like to thank Ms. Brawley for her continued dedication and support on the IDB. Also, she was chairperson for many, many years. And she elected not to be reappointed or be considered for reappointing. And again, I want to thank her very much for her dedication to our city and this board. With that being said, I would like to appoint Ryan Pamplin. He's a director at Taman Transport, and I'm very excited about him being on the Industrial Development Board. So I'll make a motion to appoint Ryan Pamplin.
Second.
Oh, yeah, motion by Mayor Williams and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Roll call. Well, do you need discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Thank you. We'll move to item G, resolution 3275.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to approve the appointment by Vice Mayor Chauncey to the East Ridge Industrial Development Board.
Yes, sir. Ms. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to reappoint Lee Ramey. Mr. Ramey has served on the IDB board for a little less than 2 years now. He was actually appointed to serve out the remainder of another board member's term. So he, like I said, he's only been on there for less than 2 years now. So I'm gonna reappoint Mr. Ramey. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do you have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. I will move to item H, resolution number 3276.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to approve as the at-large city council appointment to the Industrial Development Board.
Thank you, sir. This is an at-large appointment by the city council, so I'll be glad to take nominations to the floor.
Make a
Yes, sir.
motion to reappoint Mac Penley.
Okay, you went ahead and just made the motion. I was seeing if we was going to get some nominations.
Nominate Robert Jones.
Mr. Litchford,
Well, we've got the motion out there, so we've got to address, let's address that now since we have the motion.
all right, we have a motion on the floor for Mac Penley. All right, do I have a second? Do we have a second for motion on the floor for Mr. Penley? See none, motion failed. Do I have anyone else with a nomination or a motion?
Robert Jones.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to appoint Robert Jones by Councilmember Hilton and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do you have any discussion?
Yeah, I too wanted to thank Mrs. Brawley for her service on the IDB board. Also thank Mr. Penley for his service as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. All right, roll call, Ms. Middleton?
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item I, resolution number 3277.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving bids for the removal of rubbish and or garbage, debris, and personal property at 711 State Line Road.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, the city advertised bids on this June the 1st, I believe it was. We did send out bid specs as well to Freedom Roll Off, Go, Load Up, and Junk King. The only bid we did receive was back from Freedom Roll Off at $18,500. Staff recommends Freedom Roll Off for the cleanup.
Thank you, sir. We'll entertain a motion for resolution 3277.
I make a motion to approve 3277.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Hilton. Do we have any discussion?
I had a question, Mike.
Yeah.
I noticed the other two vendors, you got names by them, but they didn't produce a bid for you?
No bid whatsoever. It's hard to get a bid, the company go out and to clean up a piece of property that you got somebody living on. So they didn't want to touch it.
Well, I know we need to get it cleaned up, but I wish we could have just seen some more competition there with the bid process. Was it a matter of them not giving them enough time, or they just didn't want to bid it? Or they just don't?
That I don't know. The time was there. I mean, it was, like I said, advertised, plus we sent the bid specs to these companies.
And I don't really know how much debris and stuff that they bid. Do you feel like it's a fair price because like I said, I haven't seen like a rate that they charge for like a cubic yard or on the bid, or how many vehicles that they're taking out of there?
I haven't seen behind the property. I can tell you from aerial views of it through GIS, it's extensive on the property. Freedom Roll Off originally, when Housing Board had this in the meetings, we had him look at it. He bid it at that time, or just quoted at 14,500. And it's went up since then. So I think you're going to continue to see that trend, if it stays like it is.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? See none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3277 pass. We move to item J, resolution 3278.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving a temporary special events beer permit for Randy Carpenter on behalf of Allery's Fight Series.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mayor, we received an application for a temporary special events beer permit, as City Attorney Litchford said, from Randy Carpenter. He owns and operates Family Concessions, as you all know, to sell beer for consumption at Camp Jordan Arena for the Fight Series. He has done this before for the same Fight Series, and from what I understand, there's never been a problem. It's been pretty good relationship. So we recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 3278.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Whit. Do we have any discussion? See none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3278 pass. We'll move to item K, resolution 3279.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to approve a North Mac Smith South Access Road project.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if everybody brought their handouts that I gave them last week. If not,
I do.
I brought a couple.
You have yours?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, we got ours over here.
Okay, and you have the updated front page that was with it that I sent in the email. That
Yeah,
next
I've
day.
got it.
I'll go ahead and give one to Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Here you go.
Okay, as you know, we are working towards doing the construction of the south, I call it the South Access Road into the Gateway development. And before we can do anything, we need to get approval from council to be able to move forward with the project. After we get approval from the council, we will then for the next reading of the budget, we'll put the costs that are approved here into the actual capital budget. So it'll be there for when we approve it in 2 weeks. So with this, I'll just go through the pages real quickly. As you know, on the front, we have the total, the A&E that is 175,000, design survey, a little over 25,000, geotech structural, 50,000, right-of-way acquisition services, about 100,000, right-of-way, 1.1 million, construction, 2,358,000, that construction engineering inspection. So Audie knows what that means now. It's 200,000. So grand total of a little over $4 million, $4,019,351. And after talking with ACE Engineering, we believe EPB plans to still cover the cost of relocation of their utility poles. Well, that's a great
A
cost
big
savings
win.
for us too. With that being said, this is a 2,200 linear foot road, 4-lane divided with center turn lane and grass median. We discussed that, was it last meeting or the meeting before? About which of the options we wanted to start proceeding with. So that's what we've done. If you look at the next page, it shows the first half of the right-of-way plans and the initial design for the road. And then that starts at Ringo Road and continues north. And the second page shows the rest of the roadway as it goes still further north towards the development. So that's what those 2 pages were. The next page shows the approximate costs for this project. For the construction, that is, and that's the 2,358,000 that I referenced on the very first page for construction for this whole project. And then the last page shows the right-of-way acquisition table for the 10 properties for the portions of right-of-way that we'll have to purchase from these various entities. And on the very right-hand side, I put down what the description was for each of those properties. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thanks, sir. All right. Well, with that explanation, and everyone have that, I will actually entertain a motion for resolution 3279.
I move to approve resolution 3279 for improvements. It is 3279, isn't it?
3279.
Okay. Improvements of North Mac Smith Road from Ringo Road up to the end of the existing right-of-way at track 2 on the project roadway plan renderings.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion? See none? Roll call, Ms. Middleton. Councilmember Helton. First was, the motion was Councilmember Witt.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Thank you.
As stated,
And-
I'll have the costs for that um, on at the next meeting for the capital budget for you all to see.
And will that be bids also, or bids will be going out after that or before that, ahead of that?
Well, after that, we still have a little more engineering work to do.
Okay.
And some surveying, and then we would get to the construction bids.
All right.
Whatever order the engineering firm goes in.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. That is all of the items on the agenda. So the next item is item L, the discussion of the tentative agenda for June 23rd council meeting. First item on that is a special presentation by the Tennessee American Water Grant Award.
Yes, sir. That's for a grant that's going to be used for bank work on Spring Creek.
Thank you. Any discussion, council? All right, under old business, we would have ordinance number 1168, an ordinance of the city council of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, abandoning portions of 3 closed right of way as follows: McDonald Road located at lots 6517, 6521 Ringo Road, Slater Road located on lot 6519, 6521, and 6517 Ringo Road, and an unnamed road located on lot 6519 and 6517 Ringo Road as detailed in the attached map, subject to certain conditions. That would be the second and final reading. Any discussion, council? See none. Next item would be a public hearing for ordinance number 1169, which is our fiscal year 2023 budget. Any comments to add?
Yes, by state law, we have we will advertise for the public hearing after this meeting. And we have to have it out for 10 days. And at that point, we will have the public hearing to get any citizen input or comments on the budget.
Thanks, sir. Following that would be the actual ordinance 1169, an ordinance of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, making and fixing the annual appropriations of the several departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30, 2023. But it would be the second and final reading. Ditto. Any questions? See none. The next item is ordinance number 1170, ordinance of the city council of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, to provide for the general revenue thereof for the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 to be known as the general revenue ordinance for said year. That would be the second and final reading.
Yes, of the property tax revenue one,
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
which is no increase.
No tax increase. Any questions, council? See none. The next item is item E, ordinance number 1171, an ordinance of the city council of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the fiscal year 2022 operating budget. Ordinance number 1174 by changing the revenues and expenditures of various funds. It'll be second and final reading.
Oh,
That's all. Tidy up. Any questions, council? I see none. We move into new business. We would have an unnumbered resolution, the request for proposal for fleet maintenance.
Yes, we do this every year. And our current contract is going to expire at the end of June. They've already sent out the request for proposals. This deals with, for all of our fleet, vehicle fleet, preventive maintenance, oil changes, tires, and things of that nature. And we've already got the bids back, but we were going to wait till the next meeting to have it approved. East Ridge Fast Loop to do the preventive maintenance, oil changes, and tires, and East Ridge Auto Electric to perform all the other major maintenance and repairs we need. This time, we're going to have the maintenance contract for 1 year with an option to extend it for an additional 2 years.
Thanks, sir. Any questions, council?
The tires that, Fast Lube will be providing, are they gonna be on the state contract?
I would assume so, but I will check. That would only make sense.
Cause I know they're a whole lot cheaper.
Should be, obviously.
Any other questions, council? See none, move to item B, another unnumbered resolution, RFQ for the engineering services for John Ross Road resurfacing.
Yes, we finally got the go-ahead from TDOT to go ahead and move forward with that project. So we're at the phase now to ask for requests for qualifications from engineering firms to start the process of the design and moving forward. There's a lot more to do than paving than just get the machine out there and do it. So
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments, council?
Can we check with WWTA and see if they're gonna be up there working, so they won't come back like they did last time, or the gas company?
that's usually part of the process when they get to, before they do the repaving, they will send something out to all the utilities to ask them what their plans are for the future. Oh, for 5 years. Yes.
Thank you. All right,
But I still can't guarantee they're not going to do one. Street cut, so.
but we're going to monitor those street cuts very closely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, the next item is another unknown resolution, use on review for sign variance. Yes, sir.
Mayor and council, this is the existing off-premise sign for East Ridge residents. This will be the proposal for the new gateway development sign, which would add some LED message centers for a multi-tenant design to get a better idea where this development's at. Right now, we have no sign telling where this place is at. People are just kind of, they have no idea. So
Thank you, sir. Any questions, council?
It's gonna go back to a monument sign, or is it gonna be put back up in there?
off-premise signs are different than on-premise signs. You don't follow those same regulations for off-premise signs. So it can stay exactly the same with the base it has and just renovate that base and add your message LEDs centers to them.
The location of this sign in question is specifically where? I see it says Ringo Road and Max Smith Road.
Yeah, it's right. So it's a small little parcel, tiny parcel, no bigger than probably this podium here that
Portofino.
right in front of Portofino's. Yeah.
The question I have there is, in this road design, I believe that's going to be consumed with the 4-lane.
So there was, I looked at that as well. Some of that portion of that was taken, but I don't believe the sign will be affected.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions?
One I'd mentioned to you just to make sure that with the LEDs and stuff, and I think you told me it was fine, that it won't interfere with being behind a traffic signal where the colors could be, misinterpreted from the reds and the greens
Right.
and stuff, and it won't cause any confusion. I think you said it's far enough away that shouldn't be an issue.
There again, we have those, when the sign ordinance was drafted, we have those precautions, put into that ordinance where, you have a certain dwell time. That way it doesn't mess with stoplights. I think it's 8 seconds, actually. When you come up to that sign, it's got 8 seconds to stay static, then change. It can't be quick changes that would, confuse somebody with your stoplights as you're looking at that message center. So
Thanks, sir. I apologize. I'm just looking at because I thought I saw where there was right-of-way purchases. It was going to include that. So
It's a portion of that lot.
just a portion of that. Okay.
Very small portion.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any questions, council?
Got a gentleman in the back here that wants.
Yes, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Kenny, I'm sorry.
Kenny Custer, Ice Engineering,
shoes on.
714 Cherry Street.
Yes, sir.
So when we started looking at this signage, the first thing we did was get with our design engineer for the roadway to make sure that it wasn't going to encompass into the sign, because it was pointless for us to work on a sign design if it was going to be part that was taken. And to answer Councilman Cagle's, so the original design that I worked on was a monument. It actually, the base did go all the way to the ground. But the problem was when we actually pulled up to actually look at that, the site visibility turning right out of that right-hand lane towards the McDonald's and out of Portofino's, you wouldn't be able to see anybody pulling out of Portofino's. So that's why we actually had to keep it at an elevated an elevated height to make sure that you had adequate sight distance for all directions of travel coming through there. So that was the reason why we came up with a design that we did to make it work, but also provide, plenty of visibility for the gateway. So hope that helps clarify some of it.
It does. I don't see the design, but I'm assuming the one that's there is gone and this is a new one.
Yeah, yes. What's there? Yes, there will be. So in the packet for the next week, you'll have a few different renderings that'll show you, what could happen on game day ops, but then also how we're going to do it as a multi-tenant sign. The benefit of having the LED board is we can actually hatch that out and add all of our tenants in an advertisement, but then we can automatically switch that to a game day. But we don't want everybody to focus and just say that that's just the Chattanooga Red Wolves, because that development is more than just the Chattanooga Red Wolves. We're extremely proud of the Red Wolves, but at the same time, it's more than just the Red Wolves.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other items? Any other business? I see none. Thanks everyone for attending. I hope one have a very good evening, and this meeting is adjourned.